Have you ever won a lottery in your life? If you won a lottery, definitely you would have been very happy because that was an unexpected money that came to you. Or one fine morning, just imagine that your grandparents are giving you some property, are giving you some money as the inheritance. Wow, that is also a great thing because you're getting a lot of money unexpected. I think these things normally happen in people's life as well as in the lives of economy and countries together. Such things are called as windfall gains. When you get some money, when you get something very unexpected, which is not due to the hard work that you have done, which is not due to the improvements that you have done, simply you're getting it unexpectedly. These are called as windfall gains. And recently, the whole world is talking about something called as the windfall tax. In the Russia-Ukraine war is happening, and the prices of oil is simply going up. So in this case, that a lot of oil companies are making huge rounds of profit. So some European countries are even taxed the oil companies, and that is what is called as a windfall tax. So what is this windfall tax? What are the features of this tax? Why do countries tax on profit, especially on windfall? Is India going to have this windfall taxation? We can find out all the answer in LearnStroke's ExplainWallah for IAS. Let me give you an international perspective when you talk about windfall taxation. And as you know, the main important reason is the Russia-Ukraine war, and the prices of oil is going up. And the price hit even a $139 per a barrel. It was as high as that. So when such situation comes, countries find it difficult to do it, and oil marketing companies, the oil companies benefit a lot out of this. They make a huge profit on this, because the price of barrel of an oil is very high, and that is when you see a windfall profit. A windfall gain is happening to oil companies because they are making a lot of money, not because they have created a new efficient way of doing it. It's simply because of the changing geopolitics. It's simply because of the changing scenarios. They are getting windfall gain for the companies. So likewise, it is seen that many of the European countries, including Italy and Hungary, have already introduced this windfall taxation system. And now Britain has also imposed a 25% taxation system, which is supposed to generate almost £5 billion in the future. So what happens is every country has got an expenditure. And every country has got an expenditure, and every country has got a budget to keep. And what normally happens is, majority of the countries, you need to create developmental policies for the people. That means you exceed the budget. Your expenditure exceeds the budget and you go into deficit, and you need new money to fund the projects. Where does this money come from? You cannot create a lot of taxation system because that is very bad for the economy. One fine morning you come up with a lot of taxation. That is not a right thing to do. But definitely Britain and all the other nations have created a windfall taxation system through which the oil companies, or the companies that are making profit due to the Russia-Ukraine war, due to the oil price rise, they are being charged. That means windfall tax is imposed on those companies, and that means government is getting a lot of money from this, which they can actually utilize it for the developmental purpose. So majority of the countries are thinking, in the Europe, are thinking about this windfall taxation system. So the next important question that comes is India a part of this windfall taxation system, or should Indian government really think about the system? And if so, what are the concerns? Why do India, in this situation, why does India need such a windfall taxation system is something that we have to know. So in order to understand, let's take a case study of 3 important companies. And by the way, you should also understand this fact: if this windfall taxation system comes, do not think that only the private companies like, say, Reliance is actually getting involved in this. It's not only Reliance, also a large number of government-owned PSUs will also be under the net of this windfall taxation system. It's not that only the private sector is involved in this, even the government is a part of that. So that is when we say, if windfall taxation comes, definitely government of India will gain a lot of money. If the government of India is gaining money, That means at the same time, the government of India is also losing money when it gains. So why is it happening so? It's basically, we'll understand through with the case study of 3 companies. Let's take the important company ONGC, Oil India, and GAIL, the Gas Authority of India Limited. So let's take ONGC, Oil India, and GAIL. So let's take 3 companies as a case study example, and you have seen that in the recent time, the 3 of these companies created huge net profit. That means, take the case of ONGC. The ONGC made more than 253% increase in the net profit, and Oil India created more than 123% increase in the net profit, and GAIL created at least 112% more profit on the net profit, and all these can be attributed to the Russia-Ukraine war and the rise of oil prices. So these companies have created huge profit. So that is a reason, one reason why they have made, just imagine 200 plus 100% surge in the profits. That can be one reason why windfall taxation can be applied to these companies. So one more thing, as I just said before, every country has got a budget and every country has got an expenditure. You know that in the budget carries expenditure for everything. But we know that in reality, when it comes, sometimes the expenditure increases. Say, imagine that you're marked 100 rupees for a particular program. When you run that program, you know that you need 1000 or 2000 rupees to run it. So that means you need to borrow money. You need more funds to run the programs properly. So there is always a deficit involved in the total system, and there is always more expenditure. So look at from the government side. The government has decided to give subsidy for the fertilizer. So the fertilizer subsidy, and you will not believe, it is the earmarked fund, the expenditure has increased so much that it is looking at now for around 2.5 trillion rupees. 2.5 trillion rupees, it's huge money. So government needs a lot of money to do this fertilizer subsidy. And recently the government has cut down the excise duty for petrol and diesel. So again, government needs close to around, say, 85,000 crores to bridge this gap. And again, let's talk about the gas cylinder subsidy, because the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, according to this gas cylinder, the government is giving a subsidy of around 200 rupees. That is also creating a huge money. Government needs to fund this. And about the Prime Minister, the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, where you need the food subsidy for that, which is also in trillions. So you talk about fertilizer, you talk about the excise duty cut of petrol, diesel, gas cylinder subsidy, food subsidy. So everything needs a lot of money, and the expenditure is way beyond the expected thing. So how is the government going to bring a lot of money to fund all these projects? You know that we are in deficit. If all these subsidy schemes run, we'll fall short of money. How are we going to bridge it? So some money has to come. But it's always said that in the economy, it's not advisable to bring a lot of taxation system. So if at all windfall taxation system comes, you have to remember one thing. Definitely when the taxation system comes, you can tax all these companies, you will get a lot of money. But as I said, when the government gains, at the same time the government can also lose. How is that? That there is something called as the PSC, which the government signs, which is called as the public sharing contracts. The government signs it with the oil companies, the government PSU company. So what happens is, when the PSUs get money, they make profit, they give a large number of dividends. So the government, it's even said, the statistics say that the government at least got over 4,000 crores from ONGC and over 500 crores from BPCL. So that means when companies makes profit, the government also gets a large number of amount as dividends. So you can say, when there is a windfall taxation system coming in India, if they apply this windfall taxation on the companies, what is going to happen? In one sense, you can say that the dividends which the government is enjoying now will be decreased, because there is a profit coming in, and on top of that profit you charge the windfall taxation. So automatically the profit has come down. So the amount that government receives will also come down. So these are some of the important aspects that you have to remember regarding the windfall taxation system. Why windfall taxation system is important, and why are the European countries following this? What is the Indian angle in this? and why government needs more funding. And in this regard, whether government needs a windfall taxation system is something that the government will decide. But it's always said that too much taxation is not good for the economy, especially a country like India. So this is all about windfall taxation system. So please read more about this.